Yikes. All right. Yikes. Okay, all over the place. Shot a little bit too quickly. Kind of point shot and recoil was all over the place, and then tried to get it onto alpha, but looking at the dot too much. Okay. High. It is a beautiful day out here today. It's pretty cold, actually. Got a new toy here. This is a Shadow Systems DR920 with a Steiner MPS and the Surefire extruder turbo. Pretty neat. Gonna see if it explodes on me today. One thing I will say about the Steiner MPS and the whole closed emitter rabbit hole, this thing does not get bright enough in the day. I can see it very clearly right now, but against a white target, it is pretty hard to see that dot. So yeah, that's just one thing. I have heard some people saying that their Steiner MPSs were not getting bright enough. I don't know if this is going to be one of those lemons, but maybe I'll have to ask Steiner about that. Alrighty, first shots with the Steiner MPS with an actual optic on it, not the monkey irons, and a light on it. So we'll see if this thing even cycles. I'm shooting 124 grain. A lot of people were saying that the 115 grains were having some issues not cycling, and they had to go to the lighter spring. I think the stock spring is like 7 or 8 pounds, and then they had to go to like a 5-pound spring, which Shadow System apparently supplies for free. But people were saying 124 grain works fine, and so yeah. Haven't really shot a full-size gun in a very, very long time. I only really shot a full-size like back when I first started shooting, and since then I've just been doing my 19. And so here we go. Oh man. All right, 2 shots, yanked it downward, but that's also, I can barely see that dot. That is tiny, and my target stand fell over, so that's cool. Alpha 107. Alpha on the line, don't like that. 99, basically Charlie. Low right, Alpha 92. Upper right, 90. Alpha 106. Nix. There. 163. There goes the target. I can barely see that dot. So here we go. So I was in 2 seconds flat. Really bad recoil control. 1 Charlie, although they're on the line. And I'll be honest, I am point shooting. That dot escapes me. I'll be honest. With a trigger freeze there. All alphas though. 273. Got a brown target on there now. Let's see, because I'll be honest, I was point shooting. I did not see a dot after like the first 2 or 3 shots. I just shot and hoped and prayed, and that is way easier, much easier to see. So another thing people were saying that was failing on this thing was the mounting screw. Some people were saying it was just shearing off. The instruction manual says to put it at like about 25 inch pounds. People were saying it was shearing at like 20 and 15. And for whatever reason, both the mounting plate and the screw here, every Allen wrench and every hex key, torque key, whatever, they were bending. They were warping. I don't know why, because I've used those on a lot of other stuff and they're not like super cheap, but I mean, you know, I didn't buy like Amazon quality crap, but no matter what tool I was using, even though I was just tightening it and it was only at like 5-inch pounds, for some reason the key would just bend and warp, and I actually had one snap when I was installing the mounting plate here. What I did for both the mounting plate and the optic itself, I just put some Loctite on it, blue Loctite, and not the heat resistant one, just a normal like tube. I think it's 242 or something like that. I just hand tighten it, nice hand tighten, and then a little bit more, and yeah, we'll see if it holds 0. Let's do some slow fire. I want to work on some recoil control first. I know that's empty. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Too slow, 1 Charlie, 258, gripping too tight with my firing hand. Some trigger freeze there, not able to manipulate that trigger very well. All alphas, 205. Trigger freeze again, 222. I'll say the reset on this trigger is a little bit longer than what I'm used to on the 19, but I just need to more deliberately get off that trigger, find the wall again, and then fire. 1 Charlie, 206. There we go. 222. We're gonna ignore the first shot being a delta. Few on the line there. 217. Yikes. Yeah, the ace of that trigger. Okay. Dropped a few low. 213. Cut you go. I love the wind. The wind is great. So the Shadow Systems DR920. I already put about 500-ish, 400-ish rounds through it to get through the break-in period that they talk about. Didn't have any major malfunctions except for one, where the battery was stuck forward. It was stuck in battery, so to speak, and no amount of doing any of this could really fix it. I had to eventually put my hand on the slide here and snatch the slide and slam my hand forward as hard as I could, and that eventually did eject it out. I got a Surefire Extender Turbo for pretty cheap, which works very nicily. And this is the Steiner MPS. Now the closed emitter fab is a bit of a, we might say, a rabbit hole of a lot of things going wrong, a lot of things failing, and that's just because a lot of people are theorizing stuff about like hermetic seals and gaskets and nitrogen purging and how they're fogging up on the inside and the violent slide action and all that stuff. But be that it may, this is kind of the only one that I could really find here pretty easily. I wanted a Trijicon RCR, but that's literally out of stock for the next 4 months-ish. I actually called every single gun store near me, and they said, yeah, even the distributor isn't going to get any for about another 4 months. So RCR is out of the picture. Acro, I'm sure the Acro is really cool, but I did see a lot of people saying that it was failing as well, and so I didn't want to deal with that, and not just like, you know, fogging up slightly or emitter problems, just straight up like the glass shattering completely. And at that point I'm like, well, yeah, that kind of sucks. And I'm sure the MPS isn't perfect either, and I'm sure the manufacturers are fixing those issues as they come out, improving the product, but they don't seem to be willing to really say it out loud, like, yeah, our product had this problem, we did this to fix it. For example, on the back of the Steiner MPS now, they fixed that really ugly glue job, and they put this sort of rubber gasket around it, but people were saying that glue wasn't holding up, and they could see the glue starting to spread and break apart, and some people even had the rear screens, the back glass coming out completely. So now they put something on there, but they haven't, I haven't seen Steiner say anything about it. Maybe they don't want to address it or admit it or something. But the same thing with the Acro, a lot of them are failing, and Aimpoint doesn't seem to really be too keen about talking about it. So anyway, close emitter rabbit hole. I spent too much time on it to care anymore, so let's just shoot and see how this thing goes. Right, got the rifle out. Want to try working on some draws. I don't think it's quite the same as just drawing from a standstill position and drawing your pistol. I think it's a little bit more involved when you've got your rifle and then you stow the rifle down, and you need to come down here and just making sure that you don't miss the grip entirely. Make sure it's still coming back on the draw here and letting your hand slide down the grip to establish that good grip, rather than going from your rifle here and just trying to snatch it and not grabbing the gun properly at all. So do some three transition three. So the only transitions I'll ever support. There you go. Yikes. All right. Okay. Real conservative on the pistol. A little better. A little high. Pistols are good. I was gonna quit, but I decided to finish this out. Very messy. Head overboard again. Oopsies. Fuck out of there. Yank it right at the last second there. Okay. A little aggressive on that trigger. So the fact that I just ND'd there, well, it was luckily just an alpha on the head box, but the fact that that just happened just tells me that the take up on this trigger is a lot more heavier on that wall and that press and that reset. It's just a lot heavier and, you know, worse, so to speak, than it is on the 19. Yeah, I mean, you can already feel the difference there, so there too. Yeah, so the 19, believe it or not, actually has the better trigger, and it is much crisper and the reset is much shorter. I was wondering why I was struggling so much with this, and that would be why. So just to yeah, all of a sudden it's way easier. So okay, so trigger issue, I just need to train more with this trigger or cheat and upgrade, but never thought I'd actually prefer this a little bit more than the full size, honestly. But that is interesting and kind of fun. So there we go.